Section 405.070 Definitions. Data center DC. Data center means a facility used primarily for the storage, management, processing, and transmission of digital data that houses computer or network equipment, systems, servers, appliances, and other associated components related to digital data storage, processing, and related operations. Data center uses include data storage facilities, server farms, artificial intelligence training or processing, image processing, cloud computing, email servicing, and similar uses. A data center may be a primary or accessory use. The three types of data centers are defined as follows. 1. Accessory data center, facilities which are subordinate to a primary use that are contained within a principal building or accessory structure. Data centers that are ancillary to another primary use are permitted only as an accessory use if they 1. Occupy no more than 20% of the primary building footprint. 2. Are used to serve the enterprise functions of the on-site property owner or tenant and are not used to lease data storage and processing services to third parties. And 3. Are not housed in a separate, standalone structure on the parcel. 2. Micro data center, facilities that are over 20% of the primary building's footprint, not to exceed 10,000 gross square feet, utilizing less than 5 megawatts, MW, of electricity. 3. Large load data center, facilities exceeding 10,000 gross square feet or utilizing more than 5 or more megawatts, MW, or more of electricity. Sensitive purposes means noise-sensitive uses, including but not limited to a residential, place of worship, daycare, park, nursing home, bed and breakfast, campground, recreational vehicle park, hotel, motel, educational facilities, and similar uses. Section 405.510J. Conditional use permits for data centers. 1. Purpose. The purpose of these regulations is to define and address the location, establishment, application requirements, and standard conditions for data centers to promote the health, safety, and general welfare of city residents. Recognizing that data centers can place substantial demands on local resources and infrastructure, these standards aim to provide sufficient utility capacity, while not compromising the ability of the city to meet existing and planned utility demands, in addition to minimizing impacts on water and electricity rates. 2. Intent. The intent of these regulations is to establish siting, design, and operation standards for data centers to mitigate visual, noise, and environmental impacts on the city and surrounding community. All data centers constructed within the city shall be designed and built to incorporate sufficient external noise attenuation measures in order to minimize the impact of noise disturbance on residents. Data centers shall provide sufficient evidence that their operation will not negatively impact the customers and users of public utilities within a utility service area or the users of ground or surface waters. 3. Noise and vibration standards. A data center shall be designed, constructed, and operated so that sound levels measured at the property line of the nearest parcel do not exceed 60 dBA at or adjoining any property zoned or used for residential or other sensitive purposes, or 65 dBA at or adjoining any property zoned or used for commercial or industrial purposes. All measurements shall be performed by a qualified third-party acoustic engineer using ANSI/ASA industry standards. B. All exterior and rooftop cooling equipment, including generators and any other infrastructure, shall be enclosed or screened, per general standards, screening, City Code Section 405.800, to provide a visual and acoustic barrier from the property line and surrounding area. Enclosures and screens shall be opaque to obstruct from view and reduce frequency and vibrations. C. Noise-emitting equipment, such as backup generators, shall be physically enclosed within acoustically treated structures. D. Except for generator testing or commissioning activities, generator use is limited to backup/emergency use only. Generator testing shall be limited to weekdays between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., except in emergencies. 4. Site standards. A. To be eligible to apply for a conditional use permit for the development of a micro or large load data center, the property must have been identified as having a future land use of industrial in a city-adopted plan, such as the comprehensive plan, corridor, neighborhood, or area plan. B. For micro data centers and large load data centers, all equipment and structures, except perimeter fences and retaining walls, shall have a minimum setback of 50 feet from all property lines. C. Micro data centers shall have a setback of 150 feet, and large load data centers shall have a setback of 500 feet from a residential use or district or sensitive purpose, as measured from the nearest subject property lines to the nearest property line in question. D. All backup generators and other external equipment shall be located to the side or rear of all data center buildings, so as to be as inconspicuous from the right-of-way as physically possible. E. No micro or large load data center equipment and structures shall be located 50 feet from any mapped sinkholes, blue line streams, floodplains, and or losing streams. F. No new micro or large load data center shall be sited within 1,000 feet of any then existing micro or large load data center, as measured from the nearest subject property lines to the nearest property line in question. 5. Water and cooling standards. A cooling system shall comply with the following requirements. I. All cooling systems shall be either fully air-cooled or high-efficiency liquid-cooled systems, or equivalent technologies designed to minimize water consumption and wastewater discharge. Open-loop and once-through cooling systems are prohibited. Evaporative-only cooling systems that consume potable water are prohibited. Evaporative cooling means a highly water-intensive process that uses water evaporation to cool air for the facility's temperature regulation. 2. All cooling water discharged into the sanitary sewer shall comply with the city's regulations. Chemically treated cooling water shall not be discharged to surface waters or stormwater systems. 6. Zoning district use table. Data centers shall be permitted subject to the following zoning classifications. P. Permitted by right as a primary use NP, not permitted C. Conditional use permit 7. Application and utility requirements. For all large load data centers, developers must submit the following during the conditional use permit application process. A. Community benefits offered by the proposed facility or its operators. B. An environmental impact report prepared by a third-party environmental professional describing I. Anticipated emissions, air and water quality impacts, and plans to mitigate impacts. 2. Anticipated heat emissions and heat plumes generated by the proposed facility, and plans to mitigate impacts. 3. Anticipated annual water consumption of the site. 4. Anticipated stormwater impacts and mitigation measures to comply with the Municipal Code of the City of Ozark, Missouri, Chapter 430, illicit discharge into municipal storm drainage system. And V. Anticipated on-site alternative fuel and or power storage, including lithium-ion battery systems. C. An economic impact report prepared by a third-party credentialed professional entity describing I. The amount of tax revenue local taxing jurisdictions is anticipated to receive as a result of the proposed development, and 2. The number of construction jobs and permanent jobs associated with the data center. D. Plans to remove infrastructure and equipment from the site should the data center cease operation. E. A letter of attestation from the electricity provider describing any impacts to ratepayers or grid reliability of required new power generation or other infrastructure upgrades to serve the project. F. The developer must comply with the city's established neighborhood meeting requirements as established in Section 405.080 neighborhood meetings, in addition to the procedures established in Section 405.510 conditional use permits. G. Prior to issuance of a conditional use permit, the applicant shall submit a sound study prepared by a qualified third-party acoustic professional. The study must confirm, based on the proposed concept site plan and mechanical/electrical systems, that the facility is designed and constructed to meet the adopted noise thresholds. 8. Post-build confirmation study. Upon commencement of operations, the applicant shall conduct a sound study at peak equipment operation to confirm compliance with the adopted noise thresholds. The results shall be submitted to the city within 30 days of commencement. A. The building official may issue a 60-day temporary certificate of occupancy once all site and building improvements have been completed, inspected, and approved by the city. B. A certificate of occupancy shall not be issued until the results of the post-build confirmation study have been submitted, reviewed for compliance, and approved. If the data center operator is unable to demonstrate compliance with the sound levels requirements before expiration of the temporary certificate of occupancy, the building official shall not issue a certificate of occupancy. 1. If the operator shows progress in complying with the sound level requirements, then 1 additional temporary certificate of occupancy may be issued. 9. Monitoring and reporting requirements. The data center must identify a single point of contact for the community and maintain a public web page that includes noise verification reports. A data center's annual reporting requirements include compilation of all complaints received and the data center operator's response to those complaints. The annual report must also be submitted to the city each year. 10. Modification of use. Any modification to the data center site requirements, number and location of prefabricated structures, screening, lighting, sound/noise requirements, and utilities require an application for modification to an existing or a new conditional use permit.